Hello, you fucks. Welcome to John Solo's Beard Brigade. I'm John Solo. You are not, and today's a big day. Now, 20 points to see if anyone notices a difference in the booth here. 20 points. Now, I'm not from Discord earlier, but I'm saying, like, from the last talk to the beard. Did anyone notice? Did anyone? Look, Neumann is naked. Look, the microphone. Look, right there, right there. Neumann is naked. See, normally, he has had a big old black condom on him for the last 3 years. Look at that size of that. I mean, it kind of gets, it's a little bulky. And anyways, I'm very proud of it. You know, you do what you got to do to make it look bigger. Anyways, hello. Welcome to the show. I'm very excited because one of my best friends in the whole world, the lovely little Patty Logan, is going to join us here in a couple minutes. And I can't wait to see what fun ensues there. I warn you all in advance, if for some wild reason you were watching this with your children, go you. Good luck with that. And two, I would certainly not do that. I mean, unless we'll have an educational portion at the end, I guess, where I'll explain all the words and stuff. So this week we are working on Little Gianni Holmes. It's a Tantor project. I started this series a few years ago. And it's the Taking Care of Us series. Now we're going into Scandals and Secrets. And we're working on Secrets today. We're going to be doing that today and tomorrow. And Wednesday, I'm going to take the day off. Then I'm going to sleep. And then Thursday and Friday, we're going to do the other one. That's book 2. It's a duology. And along the way, we're still kind of pecking away. We haven't actually quite started recording yet, but we have pre-production done on Nora's project. We're going to get that done this week as well, I believe. And yeehaw! Ta-da! Look at all that shit. We're rocking. So, we also have Rambling Gremlin coming up on Thursday, of course. And little Alyssa Gremlin's been in rare form recently. So if you can watch that live, do it. That's at 11 o'clock here on the channel and Facebook. And then, of course, it goes on YouTube as well. And then Saturday, we are, look for notes. And maybe Trace can share a link if she has it. But look for notes in the Facebook group here. We're going into another group on Saturday and promoting the Durrani book that we did for CJ Dragon. So I'm excited about that. That's at 6 o'clock on Saturday. We're going to do a live reading there. I think that's it for the show notes. I don't know. See the ticker. Trace has been working her ass off, and little Alyssa Gramling's been jumping in to help with the booking of Talk to the Beard. So if you pay attention to the ticker at some point today, it'll be right over, should be positioned right over Patty's chest, I think. Anyways, if you look at Patty's chest a little here, you can get all the people that are going to be on the show soon. So Tracy corrected me again because I'm horrible at this. And this is so bad. All right. CJ Dragon's book is the Darani series, not the Durrani series. And I swear to God, the spelling looks like it should be Durrani, but it's not. It's Darani. And I can't tell you how many times Tracy made me correct that damn thing in the middle of recording that book. About 5,000. Anyways, here we go. Our guest today has been a regular on the show for, since we came around, and she's one of her favorite people in the world. Her friends describe her as smelling like old poo. I give you Patty Logan. Ta-da!
Great. Perfect.
I know. I was I was looking through and I was like, what am I going to do for the pick? We got to have a pick up and it twirls around while the music's playing and tells everybody who's on, and I couldn't figure. And at one point I was like, well, I could get a pile of old poo. And it's so disrespectful because you're such a wonderfully
Really?
bright, excellent person. And
God.
that comment will never, it lives in infamy. Yeah, exactly.
I know.
So, how are you? How's life? How's everything been?
Good. How are you?
I'm actually much better than the last. I had after GRL, I had a meltdown for a couple months of just personal issues going on where my last quarter of last year sucked. So, but I'm doing a lot better. We're back in the swing and rocking it out and working every day. You should come hang in Discord with us.
I'm just getting started on a book that is due at the end of next month.
Yeah.
I mean, I never wait this long to write a 90,000 word book. And it's, I took time. I did 3 bam, 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 back to back. And I burnt myself out because they're long books, and I released them 2 months apart, or almost 3 months apart, I guess, 2.5 months apart. And then there's edits in there too.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got to the March 1st February 1st. And I was like, I need some downtime. So I took some downtime, and
Hmm.
I jumped back into it like last Monday. And yeah, so I'm just getting going. And like I didn't write today again. I hate my life right now. But I'll get there, And I've already got, because these are law enforcement books, and Michael Dean does the law enforcement audios.
Hmm.
So I've already got him booked for the end of May when it's going to be released, and I might have to just call him and say, "I'm so sorry, dude. I'm going to have to push it." I don't know. I'm not 100% on that yet. We'll see. I mean, maybe I will have this stroke of brilliance and I'll be able to, like, punch it all out in 5 weeks. I don't know. But
Sometimes
I've
it
done it
happens.
before.
Why
I've
why
done
do
it
we thrive like this? Why do
before.
we thrive? I mean, personalities like me and you, we created ourselves, and then we
I
bitch and
know.
moan when we're in it, but like we're the most high functioning in that stressful. I don't understand our person. I don't get it.
It's
Yeah.
true. It's
Hmm.
true.
Yeah.
and and the subject matter of these books is not like the Prosper Woods Chronicles, which was fun and light and easy and funny, and
Hmm.
I'm writing about serial killers, so it's like every time I write one of these books, it's like cutting my own throat anyway. As a matter of fact, the next book that you're going to be doing for me is this one, Silver Ties,
Yep.
which is about a serial killer. So uh, and I wrote it 10 years ago. So here I'm back to serial killers again. I never learn.
So,
I
what is it
never
with
learn.
you and serial killers? I mean, do you have something in your
I
past where you want
I find them fascinating. No, I have nothing in my. Oh, actually, no, that's not true.
to?
Laugh,
And here we
okay?
go. All right.
Um, my lab partner in high school was kidnapped and murdered um by the who the hell who were Kenneth Bianchi and his cousin.
Oh no! Somebody in the crowd will know. I'm sure the crowd's fantastic at that. I don't know, but
Was it the
your
not
lab
Hillside
partner,
Strangler?
your
My
lab
lab
partner
partner.
was like. I mean, was it like during the time you were
I think it was
working in lab or
Hillside Strangler. That's what they
Hillside
were.
Strangler? All
The
right.
Hillside Strangler. Yeah, here in
It
LA.
was it
So
well.
it was. I'm like a little baby bird. I saw a serial killer scenario, and it imprinted on me when I
Right.
came out of the womb,
Right.
right before I went into college, and then. So yeah, I don't know, and I find the shows fascinating. I had this conversation with G.A. Hauser, who used to be a cop in Seattle,
Hmm.
one time, and I said, did you ever go to like one of these mass shootings? She goes, I went to one mass shooting. We were called out to one mass shooting. And it was the most horrific thing that I've ever seen in my life. And
Wow.
she goes, you never ever want to experience it. She goes, I can't write about it. I don't know how you can watch that shit on TV. I don't, it's like, I don't know. She said,
Hmm.
it's horrific. My Sasha's best friend was gunned down at the Borderline shooting in Thousand Oaks in 2017
Wow.
when she was 19 years old. So she was killed by this maniac. So it happens. It's like I don't know, and yet I write about him and I resolve it in books because I have to. Maybe it's this. Maybe it's cathartic for me. I don't know.
It's the problem. So,
That's my long answer.
me and my best friend were talking about this earlier today. It's the problem-solving element of putting these pieces together that challenges your brain and keeps you doing this. I mean, we've been doing this for a while. You longer than me, I think.
Right.
And it's there has to be something that I've discovered in the last 6 months or so that, for me, that problem-solving element happens a lot during the initial pre-read phase, where I'm looking through and making decisions on how I'm going to treat characters, where I'm going to fit voices in this little pattern of what I have to put together for myself back here. How I'm going to treat scenes, all that. And I'm thinking about it and thinking about it. Even while I'm recording earlier bits in the book, I'm thinking about the big problems in this book and how I'm going to overcome it. If that, I was using exclusively pre-readers for a couple of years. When that challenge wasn't there, I lost some of my enjoyment of it. Um,
Right.
it sounds like you certainly loved it because these are not the easiest books to write, as you've said. There's typically a mystery
Right.
involved, right?
Right, they're all mysteries, and there's some heavy. You're dealing with some really heavy duty psychological stuff. One of my main characters, because it's I've written three so far. I'm on the fourth one in the FBI Files series, and it's the same two main characters that go through the whole series. And one of them is the son of a serial killer, and he has to go through all this processing stuff, and he's also the profiler, and so and that's why he became a profiler, is because he grew up not knowing that his father was skinning women and killing them, but you know uh so he has to do all this processing, so there's a lot of psychological stuff involved, and there's a lot of research which blows, but it's part of the process, right? It's
Well,
just it
yeah,
makes it fascinating.
you mentioned something there that I find fascinating, and I don't see as much at all. I would say one out of every 10 to 15 books or series that I get work like this, you're following the same characters throughout the series instead of switching out
Right,
MCs every book and every new couple. Do you
right.
enjoy writing in that world where you get to keep exploring the characters, or do
Yeah.
you do like that
Oh,
as
I love
opposed?
that. I love
Yeah.
that. I started that actually with the Death and Destruction series back in 2016, and by that time I had already written a, a bunch of series.
Mm,
And um, at the same time, sorry about that,
hmm
my phone. At the same time, you know, I loved, having them initially fall in lust and then fall in love gradually as the story goes, and then have the adventures go on. And it's a formula that I've done now for like 40 books, and it works. It just works. I don't know how to explain it. It works, and I like it because it allows me to just
yeah,
I don't know, follow them, and my
yeah,
readers are crazy about it.
the character development that gets in. I remember doing that with stories as a kid. I was not reading romance. I was fantasy, sci-fi, that sort of thing, where obviously you follow the main characters, and you really get to know them and you feel like they're a part of your life. They're one of your friends. And it's
It's
pretty hard
true.
to accomplish that in, 50, 75, 80,000 words. It can be done, but then somebody's moving on to the next. I
Right.
love, as an actor, that's like, I've done it a few times, but I rarely get to do it. It's always new book, new couple. And yeah, I appreciate
Yeah.
that. Cool, whatever. But getting to follow the characters, do you find yourself? I've had this happen once or twice that I can remember now. Have you found yourself dreaming of these characters at all?
No, but actually, maybe. I don't know. I don't remember my dreams most of the time. But I'll walk into a grocery store and I'll see Jarrett, or I'll see Thane, walking down the aisle of the, cereal aisle or something. I just see them all the time. Cassidy is the cop that you're going to do in Silver Ties. That's his book. Somebody asked me, what other books is Cassidy? And I'm like, I can't even list them here, because it's like he's my LAPD detective in Los Angeles. So every time I have a mystery that takes place in Los Angeles, and I've written a lot of law enforcement books, he's my guy. So I bring him into the series, and he helps solve the case, and it's either the ATF, the FBI, the CIA, the whoever I'm writing about, Homeland Security, whoever I happen to be writing about, that is pairing up with the LAPD, because you always need a detective, and his partner, Mike, who so I always just bring them in, and they're part of the story. So I ended up counting it for this reader who asked, and it's like 40 books. He's in like 40 books. She's like, oh, her eyes, like, it just, whoa,
I love that though. The
oh
ever
wow.
expanding universe. Quite a few of the authors that I like in different genres do it. Kelly Fox in this genre does it as well, where it doesn't matter what series they're writing on.
Right.
If it's possible, some of these characters might just make an appearance.
Crossover. Yeah, they'll cross
Yeah,
over into the series. And
yeah.
that's why Michael has done that my whole law enforcement world, because I'm writing
hmm
the 23rd book in the same world that Jarrett and Thane first appeared. And so, I can't change voices, and he ends up
Yeah.
being them. And actually, when you did the Prosper Woods Chronicles series, they actually show up in that series too, but you don't know who they are.
Oh, really?
It's it's the old postman. You remember the sloths?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Okay,
remember voicing him.
it's the sloths, because in one of the, most people don't know that, but in one of those books, the uh, Death and Destruction books, there's this whole thing about sloths, and so I made them sloth shifters in that series.
That's
So
fantastic.
everybody's like, some of them knew right away because they came out of the truck carrying a box full of ferrets, because they
Okay.
have pet ferrets in that series. So
Wow.
everybody's like, "Oh my god, I can't believe it's them!"
There's a couple
They
people in the
knew.
crowd that are freaking out right now. Yeah, just learning this, which is fantastic. Somebody had asked earlier, and I want to hit back on it because it's a good author question here. Do you do any outlining at all? Or do you do an outline and then fill in some blanks? How do you work these? Because they are mysteries and it's kind of hard to see to the pants.
Yeah, with the mysteries, I have to. I
Mm-hmm.
have to. I used to write these extensive, like 20-page outlines when I first started, and then that was just stupid and cumbersome. Who wants to write 4,000-word outlines? And then, but I didn't know what I was doing then. I was really formulaic, and I would write scene, and then because I'm so OCD, I would go back and change the outline if the characters walked off page. That's how stupid I was. But anyway, so then gradually, little by little, I started like shortening those outlines and not doing so much outlining, just keeping it, bullet points. With the Prosper Woods Chronicles series, that's the very first series that I wrote fully seat of the pants. I never outlined a single word. I just went poof and I went off on it, because it's like they're magical creatures, and who the fuck cares what they say or do, or who cares, because I can, I'm like, okay, I wrote this fight scene with the unicorn, Romeo, and he gets clawed at one point by the bad werewolves, and like like rainbow, like jelly goo comes out of his flank. It just like spurts out of his flank. And I'm like, I would never have outlined that stupid scene, but it worked. And I read it back and I'm like, oh my God, this is hilarious. And my readers appreciated it. But, it's like, those don't need to be outlined, because for me, it's a paranormal, and who the fuck cares? So
Mm-hmm.
that didn't matter. It's not like I have it's not like I have a paranormal mystery going on, because there really wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
I had a general idea, but now that I'm back to this again, back to writing law enforcement and mysteries, yes, I have to outline again, which is kind
Yeah.
of, it's a process.
Well,
I'll
it's
get
that
like
that brain
I
challenge.
wrote two chapters. I wrote two chapters in my outline this time and went, eh. I sat down and started writing. So I'll go back, and halfway through the book, I'll get down and I'll write the rest of my outline. Because
Mm-hmm.
at some point, I figure out who the bad guy is, or how I'm going to end the book, which is usually about halfway through it. And I go, oh, that's how I've got to end it. So,
Mm-hmm.
it's like, boom. Then I'll sit down and write the rest of the outline, because I got to make sure I get there, you know?
Well, yeah, and you're a working author. You've got a deadline, and you have to hit. So, I mean, you've got to start moving at some
Exactly.
point. You can't just keep planning. No
Yeah,
way to do it that way. Has
exactly.
your how's the rest of your team still? Editing team all right? Covers, all that fun stuff. Is everything still
Everybody's
in place?
great.
Rocking? Excellent.
Everything's still good. Yeah. I mean, I've got Jeff, who's been formatting for me forever. He's done 73 books for me, plus all of the translations that I've done, which is like 60.
Mm-hmm.
So he's done like all my formatting for the last 10 plus years, 12 years. And then I've got an editor that actually I brought on when I started writing the Prosper Woods Chronicle series, because my other editor had flaked on me after like 6 years. She just vanished.
Yeah.
So I love my new editor, Meg. She's amazing. I love her. And um and yeah, I've used the same cover artist for the last like 50 books, and I
Mm-hmm.
love her. So I've got a
Everything's in
really good
place.
team, a solid team, yeah.
Well, I have a complaint to lodge. Now, maybe not a complaint, really. I'm not really sure how to put this. So we're doing the old little rambling grambling show the other day, and somebody sends in
Oh,
a clip from well, Michael Dean, or as I like to call him, Chorizo, the spicy sausage man, and things got rather spicy rather quickly there going on. I was, and not that, I mean, we're all joking here. Of course, it was fucking hilarious, but I was like, oh my God, he's actually going to do a sex scene? Like, it's kind of hard to get people to send in, to do live reads of
Hmm.
anything like that. It was
I
uncommon.
asked him, well, we had already recorded that, obviously. So he just had to clip it. And I told him what I wanted.
Yeah.
And he did it.
Yeah.
So,
It was
and
cool.
he nagged about it. He said, I don't usually do this, but,
Right.
for you, I'll do it.
Well, yeah.
So that was nice.
Yeah, I don't know. It was awesome. I had him on the show once a while back, but he's into other acting parts of the acting world, and that's kind of what he does too. So he hasn't got a lot of time.
Yeah.
Nice guy though. He was awesome. What are you just going to continue down the spy cop thriller serial killer? You're just going
It
to stay in this
depends. I mean,
series?
probably for a while, I'm going to stay on this series because it's
Yeah,
selling really well. It's like everybody's like excited that I'm back at it. This is the last one that was released, 1,000 for million stars.
nice.
And the next one is called Life on Mars. Not very original, but um, that's the one that I'm working on now. So I'm going to stay with it. I mean, people like these from me.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, no,
They
it's
sell well, and real estate sucks right now, and that's what my husband does. So, you know, I really don't have a choice. I'll stick with what pays the bills.
I get it. So bucket list items here. You can choose one. The book that you actually, because you've been writing these for a while now. If you can have one book, choose a topic. It doesn't
Hmm.
even have to be in the genre. That bucket list item where you're always like, I know I'm gonna write this eventually. Do you have anything said like
Jeez,
that?
I've got a lot of those, but I can't think of one off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Um, I thought it would be fun to write a book where there's this apartment that this guy's lover dies, and he finds out he's going through his stuff, and he finds a key, and then he gets a bill or something. He finds an old bill or an address or something. So he goes to this apartment and finds out that it's this whole other life that this guy's been living, and he's got a lover, and he's got like a whole other existence. And then one day, and so then he starts like living his existence, you know like he puts on
Wow.
his smoking jacket, he pulls out a cigar from whatever, and he sits down, he starts drinking his brandy, and he starts like living this guy's life, and he thinks, wouldn't it be interesting if the lover walked back in? And one night he does, and then they get together.
Wow.
I thought something like that would be fun, but it would be a standalone, and I don't write standalones, so
Right.
you know
Well, there's obviously not as much money in it. Some of the most fun projects I've ever done have been standalone, so too, because of
I bet.
weird, wacky, off the wall ideas that just come to
Yeah.
fruition and come to a head. By the way, no surprise, the crowd is flipping out and saying, "Do that now. We want
Yeah.
that next." So, good luck
Of
with that one.
course, of course. They always do that.
Yeah, I love it. Did I ever ask you where were you born? Like, where did you were
I
your
was born here
family?
in Los Angeles,
Okay,
right here in Los Angeles. I'm adopted. I'm
really?
adopted. I was adopted in 19, I won't even tell you, but from the Children's Home Society here in LA. So when you can, back then, all adoptions they were all closed. So um, this is obviously before Roe v. Wade. And so abortions were illegal, or I probably wouldn't be here. But so back then, this Children's Home Society, which still exists, by the way, or it did 20 years ago, you had to. I found out that you had to, if you wanted information on your birth mother, you had to write in, and then she would also have to write in, so they could match the two letters. And if both of you wrote in that you were interested in meeting each other, being put in touch, then they would do that for you.
Huh?
And she would be in her 80s now or something. But they gave me biographical information, but that was really all I could get.
So they didn't give anything. Did you have any?
No,
Did you have any siblings, anything like that in your family, or just only child? Or?
I have an adoptive brother, and he actually found out who his mother was. And
Really?
she had a whole other family up in Oregon, and but they've kept in touch. Like he got in touch with her about 10 years ago,
Mm,
and so they're in touch. But yeah, totally different parents than I had.
mm,
But it's funny because the biographical information that they sent me, there was like, okay, your mom was an art student at Long Beach State, and I had already planned on going to Long Beach State as an
okay.
art student, oddly enough. So um, they said your mom was an art student at Long Beach State, and your there are two possible fathers, and that there's these are the descriptions. One was an Irish guy, Irish, German, and English. Okay,
Hmm.
blonde hair or red hair, blue eyes. The other one was like I don't know how to pronounce it, Ashkenazi Jew with like olive skin, black hair, and brown eyes. They're like, which one do you think it is? You know. But anyway, so yeah, that was all I. That's the only description I had of
Well,
my
so
birth
so
parents.
I mean, because you had an adopted sibling as well. I mean, everybody kind of understood. I'm assuming it was a very loving home then, and you grew up well.
Yeah, it was very loving. And
Yeah,
back then, you know, in the '60s, you could you know, little white babies with blue eyes were you could anybody could get them. You know, these
yeah.
days you just can't. You know, if that's what you want,
Go down to the
they're all
parking lot at
mixed
Home
race kids
Depot
or
and get one.
yeah.
Yeah.
I listen. I used to be in the mortgage business, and I had a
Mm,
client, um, and he was of a nomadic tribe. I won't say what, but he asked me if I could help him and his wife get a baby, find a baby for him. I'm like, well, you can adopt. And he's like, no, I can't. We can't adopt. We don't. They boil down to the fact that they don't have birth certificates because they're mostly
wow.
born in wagons and stuff. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess it makes sense.
Or in, you know, at home. So they
Well,
don't have birth
so
certificates.
I mean, did you ever do like the 23andMe or anything like that to figure out any sort of heritage? I'm a mutt.
No,
I don't know what I am.
you know, it's like at this stage of my life, I don't want to open that door. I
Mhm.
just don't care. I don't care.
Well,
They've
it
got
turned
one parent. My kid, one parent that everybody knows what he is because the lineage goes back 5,000 years, as I'm told all the time by the Persian husband that I have. So, you know, okay, whatever. You know,
oh, shit. I'm
we're not Iranians, we're Persians.
Yeah, I know. I still can't find that on a map. But the
Yeah, you
fun thing
can. You
is
just have to look back 5,000 years.
exactly. You can't. You're like, look, he's Persian. Where the fuck is? Yeah, it doesn't really work that. But I'm a fan. Whatever mix came out well. Obviously
Thank
now,
you.
when you were growing up,
I have.
you say you already had plans to go to Long Beach. When did that happen? When
Yeah,
did you
I did.
decide? Was it like 12, 13, 14? You're like, I'm gonna be an artist. I mean, you're
I was an artist anyway. I drew and painted and you know, and then when I was in high school, um, my art teacher put me up for the Bank of America Fine Arts Award, and I won it among a bunch of high school students.
that's sweet.
So that made me like excited, and it came with like $100 prize back in those days. You know,
Hmm.
I mean that was a lot of money, and I bought a guitar actually.
No
So
shit.
yeah, it was $70 for my acoustic guitar. Anyway, so yeah, so I just that I guess that helped make me feel like you know maybe I did do this. I mean, it would be worth doing. You know.
Do you ever break out the guitar anymore or anything like that? Do you play? I mean, I didn't know.
No, I've forgotten all of it. I don't play anymore.
I can just picture. I
And
mean, it would be so perfect. I can just see you. It's like the what you're growing. It's 70s, right? Like mid 70s, late
yeah,
70s, somewhere in there. So,
yeah.
and you get the flowers and the hair and the. I mean, I can just see it. It's an absolute picture perfect little Patty Logan. I can.
My
Um,
guitar teacher was a huge John Denver fan.
mhm.
So we learned, you know, all the John Denver songs and, you know, Annie's song and country Boy, whatever the fuck it was, song, and like all those, that, and then what else did he? Oh, Cat Stevens,
Hmm.
and so we learned all
Now,
those things. So
this was like the free love coming out of it time. I mean, did you have
I'm
any
not that
crazy?
old.
Oh, I
That's
mean,
like a
I don't.
whole. That's like about 8 years before my time.
Okay, so fair enough. So you were in the paid love.
Let me put it this way: Jim Croce was still alive. Okay.
I'm only like 10 years younger. I mean, it's not like you're, but yeah, I've got to give you shit.
No, you're like
Um,
15 years younger than me.
yeah, I mean, the thing, like days like today, I've been feeling this more and more and more. Like I feel mostly better every year because I'm a fucking flaming alcoholic. So,
Because you're an athlete.
oh,
You're an Olympian. We were
as
just
you can
yes.
tell, yeah.
You're an
But
Olympian.
it's really pretty easy to be me at this point. 'Cause, like, if I don't drink a half a gallon of vodka a day, I'm probably going to feel better than I did a few years. I mean, easy.
Then
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean, then it's been 7 years, coming up on 7 years. So every year, typically, I feel better than I used to because I used to just treat my body like absolute horseshit. Mine's easy.
right.
But there is this thing now where sometimes I require, do you go through this? Drastic amounts of sleep. I'm not talking 10 hours. I'm talking like 16 to 18 hours. You got to roll over several times because your back hurts because that kind of,
I wish
sometimes.
I could sleep that long.
Oh
I
my
I
God.
am lucky if I get 6 hours in a night.
Yeah.
I think I actually slept for 6 hours earlier in the week or something, and I couldn't move when it was like, it was like everything had just, I
Your
couldn't
body.
move.
Your body was fooled. It was going into rigor mortis. It was.
Exactly. That's what happened. I was just like, I had
It's
total
just
right-sided lividity.
one,
I was
like
red.
once every 2 weeks or so. Right now, this is happening to me, and it's a new occurrence. I used to sleep like 4 or 5 hours a night, and I was
That's
cool. I
the way
felt
I
great.
sleep.
Yeah.
That's the way I
No,
sleep.
4 or 5 years ago, this started to change where I started to sleep 8 hours, and now, yeah, like once every couple of weeks, there's just a time where,
Huh.
and there's no predicting it, where it's just going to happen. He's out,
Yeah.
done. I think that's what getting old is for me. That's what it is. It's like I feel better, but I got to sleep a little more sometimes.
Well, it's like my husband takes naps every day. He's
Oh, naps are awesome.
66.
Oh yeah.
He takes naps every day, but he doesn't take like 20-minute cat nap. I mean, what do you call them? Power naps. He takes like, you know, REM sleep naps where you're snoring and the whole
Right.
nine
Hour and a
yards.
half. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. An hour and a half is, his norm. And then he stays up and watching TV or whatever until watching Persian TV until like 1:30 in the morning. And he wakes up tired in the morning. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Just go to bed earlier. So, take a handful of melatonin if that's what it takes. And now he buys these like this liquid like Sominex crap where
Really?
it's like a liquid, it's like NyQuil, but it's for sleep.
Okay.
ZQL, that's it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Well,
he like
ZQL is.
downs that shit.
Yeah, I can't. I'm not allowed to have NyQuil anymore, and I kind of miss that actually.
Right,
There's nothing better when you're really sick. That fucking green
right.
NyQuil. Oh my God, it's the bomb. And yeah, I can't because have you ever heard of robo tripping? Have you ever heard of that? One of my buddies used to do
No.
this. Get Robitussin at the store, and you get 10 bottles of it, and you have to drink them really quick, one
Ugh.
after the other. But then you're tripping like you're on LSD for like 8 hours. You're gone.
Ugh.
Yeah. Now he said the hangover was pretty bad, but see, these are the kind of people that I like.
Wow.
That's
It's a
my world
miracle
when
they're
I was growing
alive.
up. Yeah,
It's
exactly.
a miracle they're alive.
Hey, you've been wonderful, by the way. Thank you for doing this.
Thank
We're gonna
you.
be
Thank you
we're
for
gonna be hanging
having
out
me.
in Discord regardless, because I'm gonna be working on your book here in a few weeks. But in the meantime,
Okay.
um, I know I missed some comments. You're popular. Everybody's chatting back and forth here. I'm going to go throw some meat on the smoker, and then I'm going to go work in Discord here in a bit. So I
Have
love you to
fun.
death. Oh yes, I
Thank you. I
plan
love
on
you
it.
too. And I'll see you. I'm going to see you in October, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We're gonna
In
be there.
GRL.
Well, and there's the big,
Okay.
we got our own little audiobook narrator day now,
I
Wednesday.
know.
Yeah. And
I know.
we got a room too. There's another big deal. We got a room. So we can
That's
do,
awesome.
yeah, we can do some talk to the beards and then we can do, all of us can sign up to do live reads and shit too. It's going to be awesome. So,
Fun.
yeah. Yep. But all right. Have
Yay.
fun. I will see you all. I'll
Thank
be in
you.
Discord in about an hour or so, y'all. Have fun. Peace.
Thank you.